Today we're going to be looking at the odds that every single active female WWE superstar on the main roster has of winning the Women's Royal Rumble match. I already did this same video for the men, so go check out my channel to make sure that you watch that too. And by the way, I made a joke about how you should use these to actually like make bets. That was a joke. Do not put any money on anything that's a predetermined outcome. For the love of God, I don't want to see any of you on the streets because you jokingly put money on Tozawa to win the Royal Rumble because it was funny for the memes. Now for this, I want to clarify one more time that I'm only doing active members of the main roster that are signed to the WWE today. So I'm not including people in NXT or any potential returning legends or any potential returning free agents. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I know you're going to like this channel because we upload daily wrestling content. And once again, I'd like to invite you over to our Royal Rumble watch party over at twitch.tv/SantiZap, where you're going to get to watch the Royal Rumble with a bunch of other wrestling nerds. Twitch.tv/SantiZap. If you're going to be watching the Royal Rumble anyway, you might as well have some friends to be able to talk about it with. So check it out. The link is in the description. One last thing. I saw one person complain that I'm like milking the Royal Rumble for views. It's like, dude, it's Royal Rumble season. Imagine getting mad at an NFL football content creator because they're making videos about the playoffs when they're in the playoffs. Like, dude, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to make videos about the King of the Ring right now? It doesn't make any sense. Anyways, that was my little rant. Onto the video. So just like in the men's version of this video, here are the different tiers of odds that I've created. We have no chance in hell. We also have great for the memes, but no, which is somebody that it'd be kind of funny if they won, but like, come on, there's no realistic chance that they would. We also have not the right year, but soon, which is somebody that might make some noise in the Royal Rumble, but it just doesn't make sense for them to win in any capacity at the moment. We also have I wouldn't even be mad, which would be a surprising person that could win this Royal Rumble that you'd be like, okay, I guess that's what we're rolling with. I didn't see it coming, but okay, let's do it. We also have real contender. These are people that you have to be truly considering as a potential winner of the entire thing. And then we have two people that I'm going to tell you to bet the house on. Not literally, maybe like bet your Minecraft house, not your real house, okay? Let's start with Alba Fire of the Unholy Union, who just, I guess, sort of came back to SmackDown, immediately lost to KC2. This is no chance in hell. Next, we have Alexa Bliss, who is currently signed with the WWE. However, she's on hiatus as she recovers from giving birth. She just had a kid back in November. I still think that it's just way too early to even conceivably think of her coming back. However, let's say that she pulls some sort of like miraculous John Cena comeback and somehow is in the Royal Rumble. If she were to win, I wouldn't even be mad because she's one of those like top tier flight women in the roster that hasn't won this yet. If Asuka were to win this Royal Rumble, one, I don't see it because like narratively, I don't think it makes a heck of a lot of sense. However, if the WWE were to like put some respect on the name of Asuka, which I feel is something that they haven't really done recently, if she were to win, I wouldn't even be mad. Again, I wouldn't see this coming in any way, shape, or form. I'd be interested in what sort of narrative they'd go with, but I guess I'd be up for it, but I wouldn't be mad. B-Fab hasn't even really been an in-ring competitor. I know that she's capable of. She can actually be a pretty decent professional wrestler. However, they haven't really given her the chance to be able to do so. So because of that, there's just no chance in hell. We have Bayley, who is my pick to win this Women's Royal Rumble match. I made that prediction in my predictions video. Go check it out on the channel if you want to watch those. It's just too perfect. One, she's one of those like few top tier caliber women, the three of the four horsewomen that are left on the main roster that hasn't won the Royal Rumble yet. When I look at the narrative threads that are available for somebody like Bayley to go on to main event WrestleMania with somebody like Io Sky, like the path is just so perfect. On top of that, there is this story of dissension that they could tell within Damage Control, a story that would be further, I guess, advanced by somebody like Bayley winning the Royal Rumble. I think it's just such a great time to give Bayley her flowers. I know you guys hate when I use that analogy because I use it a lot, but let's be honest, like Bayley has been carrying the women's division for the better part of since the pandemic, and she just hasn't gotten that love for all of the hard work that she's been doing. So I'm gonna say this is the year where you gotta bet the house on Bayley. Now, prior to Bayley becoming the favorite to win this year's Women's Royal match, the person that I was pegging to be the winner of this year's Royal Rumble match was Becky Lynch. I thought that they were going to make her the first ever two-time winner of the entire event. I thought that this was going to be a repayment for all of the work that she did helping get people over on NXT and getting some eyeballs over on NXT, and that it was the perfect way for them to finally bring in Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley as a matchup at WrestleMania, something that they've been clearly trying to avoid for the past like 12 months basically. Now, I cooled off on Becky Lynch winning the Royal Rumble, but then I got red hot on it again in like the last couple of episodes of Monday Night Raw when they made it clear that the plan is Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley. Now, Becky Lynch could still get to Rhea Ripley in some other way, maybe winning a #1 contendership at the Elimination Chamber, but to me it's very clear that they are doing Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. That is what is going to happen. And because that is the plan, I think that you need to treat Becky Lynch as a serious contender to win this. She is the second person that I would consider betting your Minecraft house on. Hey folks, if you want even more wrestling content, consider checking out my Patreon, patreon.com/SantiZap, where you're going to get the reviews of all of the weekly shows like Raw, SmackDown, NXT. You're also going to get the Wrestling is Cool podcast 3 days early. The episode for this week is already up there, so go check it out. And you're also going to get the monthly mailbag. So it's just more wrestling content. The daily stuff is still, of course, going to continue here. But if this isn't enough, then go check out Patreon, patreon.com/SantiZap. Okay, done with the sellout. Back to the video. Bianca Belair was very close to maybe being in the bet the house category. However, when I look at narratives that are available for somebody like Bianca Belair, the one that makes the most sense is, of course, Io Sky, because there's history there. Her losing the title to Io Sky, her losing the rematch to Io Sky because of the involvement of Kairi Sane. However, I feel like there's a better track for Bayley to meet with Io Sky at WrestleMania than there is for Bianca Belair. The other track that they could have gone with, which would have been a huge megastar match, on top of that, they're the two cover athletes of WWE 2K24, would have been Bianca versus Rhea, which would have been freaking fire. That is a dynamite superstar match. However, just like in the story with Bayley and Io Sky being an easier narrative to get to, Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley is an easier narrative to get to. So I still think that Bianca Belair is going to have a giant marquee match, maybe with somebody returning to the WWE, kind of like how Cody Rhodes went on to face Seth Rollins, and that was the big Seth Rollins match that year at WrestleMania 38. They could give a moment like that to Bianca Belair. However, she's going to be dangerous in this Royal Rumble, and of course, she's beloved by millions of people and WWE themselves, so you gotta treat her as a real contender. Candice LeRae, by the way, have we really decided that her fans are called the LeRacists? I don't know. I can't get behind that. No chance in hell. Carmella's in a similar boat to Alexa Bliss, where I just don't think the timelines add up. However, she was a really awesome Miss Money in the Bank, so maybe she could be a really awesome Women's Royal Rumble winner. And I don't see it. However, it'd be great for the memes, but most likely no. Dude, if Charlotte Flair pulls a John Cena and comes back to this Royal Rumble, that would be crazy. And I know that sounds impossible, but I've been watching her recovery videos and she is looking great. Obviously, this is a pretty gruesome knee injury that it's supposed to take a very long time, but you never know with these superhuman WWE superstars. However, I'm going to be of the logical assumption that she's not going to be in the Royal Rumble, and I'm going to say no chance in hell. If Chelsea Green were to win this Royal Rumble match, which I don't think that she would, I don't think that it makes sense at the moment, I think that she'd be a great Women's Royal Rumble winner, and I think that they could develop a really great political character that uses, obviously like backstage politics and bullying to get what she wants. So if she were to win, I wouldn't even be mad. Dakota Kai has been out of the ring for quite a while. I don't know what her timeline to return from this knee surgery that she had is, but it's been a while now. Maybe she's been secretly ready to go and they just haven't told us yet. So if Dakota Kai were to maybe shatter the hopes and dreams of Bayley and be the one to eliminate Bayley and win the Royal Rumble, that would be crazy. I wouldn't even be mad about that. Indy Hartwell, no chance in hell. Isla Dawn, similar to Alba Fire, just has no chance in hell. Ivy Nile is an interesting one to keep an eye on. I think that she's going to have a great performance at this year's Royal Rumble match. However, she's only been on the main roster for a couple of months. What are we talking about? 2.5 months at best that she's been on the main roster. But in those 2.5 months, she's been treated as a top player on the Monday Night Raw roster. I don't think that this is the year but soon. I think we could see a world where Ivy Nile could be at the top of the mountain in a couple of years. So I'm going to say not right now, but maybe soon. Io Sky, we do have to consider the possibility of maybe like champions appearing in the Royal Rumble, but the fact that she doesn't have a match at the Royal Rumble match where she could lose the title and then appear at the Women's Royal Rumble match tells me that there's just no chance in hell. This is a fascinating conversation because I do believe that the Royal Rumble match is the perfect place to have Jade Cargill debut in the WWE. I think because of a couple reasons. One, the Royal Rumble match is a big marquee event, and if you want to treat her like a big marquee free agent signing, then I don't think that there's too many better places than to debut her at the Royal Rumble. The other one is because I know that there's concerns about her in-ring work, and you can use the Royal Rumble match as a perfect vehicle to mask those inabilities in the ring, or the fact that she might be a little bit greener than we might know of. Still, she is a powerhouse. She is like a 1 in a million in terms of like the raw power that she brings to this women's division. Because of that, if she is in the Women's Royal Rumble match, I think she's going to make a lot of noise, do a lot of damage, and I could see her being in a situation where they set up a major marquee WrestleMania match. Maybe that match that I was talking about earlier with Bianca Belair, who might need somebody now that Charlotte Flair is injured. So because of this, I'm going to say that Jade Cargill is a real contender, but I don't think she's going to win. Kairi Sane is one of my favorite female WWE superstars, but she just hasn't been making enough noise to really make me believe that she's a contender here. I'm going to say that there's just no chance in hell. I believe that Katana Chance, women's tag team champion, has no chance in hell, and her tag team partner, Kaden Carter, also has no chance in hell. Liv Morgan is pretty much like guaranteed to return at this year's Royal Rumble match, right? I think like we're all expecting this, and I do believe that if she is at this year's Royal Rumble match, that she's going to make a tremendous amount of noise, just like she did at last year's Royal Rumble match when she almost won the whole darn thing. You got to keep an eye out on her. If she were to win, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't necessarily bet the house right now. I think there's just a couple of lingering things with her injury proneness and, you know, obviously like those drug charges that happen, but still, it seems like WWE is good to move forward, but those are just things that you might want to have in the back of your head when making your decision. Still, I'm going to say that she's a real, true contender here. Maxine Dupree has no chance in hell. Mia Yim has really impressed me with her in-ring work over the last couple of months. Still, that's not enough to move the needle. I'm still going to say no chance in hell. Natalya. Oh, the curious case of Natalya. I've said this before. I really like Natalya. I think I like Natalya more than probably most of you that are watching this. This might be a compatriot thing because she's Canadian and I'm from Canada as well, and I might have that extra connection to her that maybe you don't. I know she gets a lot of flack online, but my goodness, the outrage that this would cause if Natalya were to win the Women's Royal Rumble match would be out of this world, to the point where it just might be too goddamn funny. I think this would be great for the memes, but no. If you are not considering Nia Jax as a strong contender to win this Royal Rumble match, I don't think that you are doing this right. Now, the problem with Nia Jax is that she is the giant, the monster of the women's division, and these types of characters typically serve better as a prop rather than as an actual main character. And what I mean by that is that even if you look at the history of the men's Royal Rumble match, these giants that are impossible to get over the top rope just never win. They actually end up always either getting ganged on, or the spiky superhero finally is able to get them over the top rope. And I think that's how they're going to use Nia Jax. I anticipate that Nia Jax is going to get eliminated by Becky Lynch to help build Becky Lynch's confidence as she continues down this path, down this road to try and get a match with Rhea Ripley. So even though I do believe that she is going to get eliminated and she's going to be one of those, again, typical giant person props, I think she's going to be a real contender. What sort of world are we living in where somebody whose entire gimmick is to literally just stand there and exist and stare at things might win the Royal Rumble? There's just no chance in hell. However, it'd be kind of funny, so I guess it'd be great for the memes. Piper Niven, I feel like she could be on the cusp of being great in the women's division. She's just missing the ability of WWE actually treating her like this monster, like this powerhouse of the division, like they've done with Nia Jax. I think that she's maybe a really strong Rumble showing away from maybe gaining that aura that she's been missing as this powerhouse. So I guess if she were to win, I wouldn't even be mad. I'd be super freaking confused. I wouldn't know where you're taking this. I'd be a little bit intrigued though. I'm of the belief that we are looking at a future Women's Royal Rumble winner in Raquel Rodriguez. However, I will say this, because she really isn't in the conversation at the moment, she doesn't really have any narrative threads that make sense right now. I'm gonna say that it's not the right year, but soon. Similar to Io, we have to consider the fact that maybe Rhea Ripley is somehow in the Royal Rumble. However, obviously the odds are very low, considering she doesn't have a title match earlier in the night where she could lose the title and then enter the Royal Rumble. So I'm gonna say, just like Io, no chance in hell. Scarlett, kind of like BFAB, can be a good wrestler. They just don't really showcase her as that. So no chance in hell. This train is gone. This train has left the station years ago. Actually, it left the station in 2020 when she should have won that Women's Royal Rumble match. I still don't know how they didn't do it back then, because they've missed their chance, because she doesn't have this scary aura that she used to have back then, and you know, squashing Ronda Rousey didn't really revitalize that in any capacity. She's sort of just in the doldrums of the women's tag team division. Sadly, I have to say that there's just no chance in hell. Shotzi has definitely become a lot more prominent in the women's division over the last several months. However, still just no chance in hell. Actually, I think she gets eliminated by Bayley, I bet. If Sonya Deville were to magically come back from this injury, be in the Women's Royal Rumble match, I don't know what they would do with her winning the Royal Rumble match, but I guess I wouldn't even be mad, because she was doing like some of the best work of her entire career prior to this injury. Again, this makes no friggin' sense, but I guess I'd be, even a little bit intrigued as to what their plan would be. Tamina, I confirmed, is still signed in WWE. No chance in hell. Tegan Nox has no chance in hell, but there's maybe a slight chance she probably gets injured. Xia Li has really impressed me tremendously over the last several months. I don't know where she's gone. She hasn't really appeared on NXT or Raw recently. Still, the little limelight that she had on those shows was a breath of fresh air. Still, no chance in hell. Zelina Vega, I wish, like, I love Zelina Vega. I guess the real answer would be I wouldn't even be mad, because I like Zelina Vega, but the realistic answer is no chance in hell. Zoe Stark, maybe similar to an Ivy Nile, might be due for a Royal Rumble victory 5-6 years down the line. It's just not the right time. She's still in her rookie year on the main roster. So I'm gonna say it's not the right year, but maybe soon. All right, folks, once again, this is not real gambling advice. Do not use this to bet your actual house. But those are my picks. Let me know what you would have changed. Who is your bet the house Minecraft house pick for this Women's Royal Rumble match? Let me know. And again, make sure to check out the men's version of this video as well. That's it. I'm done. Get out of here.